You know that feeling when D&D is coming up and instead of being excited, your stomach just drops. The DM screen starts feeling less like a doorway into another world, but more like a tiny cardboard prison. Prep feels heavy. Scheduling starts feeling like admin work. And somewhere in the back of your head is that horrible little question, why am I not enjoying this anymore? This is DM burnout. And it feels horrible. I've felt it before. In this video, I want to talk about what actually causes that feeling. The bits we don't always say out loud. And a few practical ways that make DMing feel just a little bit more like something you get to do. Again, not something you have to perform. So usually when DMs talk about burnout, we jump straight to prep. And yeah, I mean, prep can absolutely eat you alive if you are not being careful. I've talked about that before and we'll come back to it. And the first place it shows isn't usually prep, it's the people. Sometimes for me, the most exhausting part of DMing isn't the dungeon, right? It's not the combat. It's managing the people around it. If you have a problem player that doesn't just make the game harder, they make you brace before every session, right? You need to like hype yourself into it so you can even show up. And if someone is constantly undermining your tone, ignoring your hooks, like they're glued to their phone, they're not paying attention, arguing every single ruling that you do, or treating you as the DM sort of like a content dispenser, then at some point you become the referee, the therapist, the moderator, the lore engine, the rules engine, calendar management, and the feel-good manager of the group. And at that point, it stops being a game. You're just managing a group of people. For me, number one is naming the behavior, not the personality. So when every ruling turns into a 5-minute argument, it kills the momentum for me. So I usually have a 30-second rule, look up a rule, and if I can find it in 30 seconds, I rule like the rules say. Otherwise, I rule in favor of the player. This cuts down massively on arguing, and we can always look up the right rule afterwards and do it right the next session. Number two is to explain the cost. It's making the game harder to run. It's making me dread prep. And I explain that out loud. Like I'll make a ruling in the moment, for example, like the 30-second rule, and we can check the rule after the session. And then number four you can do is make the whole table responsible for it. You can't be the only one person protecting the game. Everyone else needs to be in on it. Everyone else at the table is equally responsible for the fun. They are here for the fun, so they should contribute to it. And if you have a problem player at the table, one person's fun can't be allowed to quietly cost everyone else their fun. A good table gives you energy back. A bad table makes every hour of prep feel like you're, doing chores. But even if you have great players, you can still burn out if the table quietly decided one person is always the DM, which is the second issue that I see. The longer you sit behind the screen, the easier it is for everyone to forget you're allowed to sit on the other side of it too. Forever DM syndrome is usually something that happens by accident. Like, nobody's being malicious here. It just becomes a default mode. And usually there's a good explanation. You started the campaign. You own the books. You know the rules. You're the most reliable, and at that point, you're probably the most experienced too. But a lot of DMs don't want to quit. They just want someone else to take the reins for one night. I know I certainly do. I want to be surprised. I want to make a character. I want to remember what it feels like to play, why I started this game, why I fell in love with this game. And sometimes one session as a player reminds you that you don't hate D&D, you're just tired of always being responsible for it. So the way that I usually handle this at my table is if we agree on a new date and I'm like, I won't be able to make this, but I still have time. I'll hand the reins over to someone else and tell them, listen, I'd love to play there, but I can't prep. Can someone else please prep a one-shot for this? And usually there's a couple of people that wanted to try it anyways, and you can help them. You can help them pick out the adventure. You can help them sort of show them half an hour how you prep. And then you hand the reins off to them. Don't take the role back. The fix here is to break the pattern early. I don't want you to wait 2 years before you let someone else run a session. If you're just starting with D&D, if you're just a new DM, make sure that you do this after a couple sessions already, after like 3 or 4 sessions, maybe a dream sequence, an off week, sort of something like that where someone else steps in and DMs. And you want to keep it low stakes too. Make it normal that the chair can like rotate. The goal isn't to stop DMing, it's to make DMing feel like a choice again for you and for the others. Now, speaking of making DMing feel lighter, I have a quick sponsor break here, and this one is coming from me. So 5 years ago, I sat down to build MapMe because making battle maps was one of those prep tasks that I always wanted to enjoy, but it was like it could eat up an entire evening and I did not have the time. So I made MapMe, which is my iPad app for making D&D battle maps super quickly on the couch without needing to become a professional cartographer just to run one encounter. Now, if that's something you're interested in and if that sounds useful, there's a link in the description below where you can check it out. All right, enough of that. Let's go back and let's think about point number 3, which is one of the worst parts of DM burnout. And that's that your players might be having a great time and you still go home feeling like you've failed. I know I certainly do that. Your players might genuinely be enjoying themselves, but if nobody says it out loud, you as a DM, you don't feel it. So I always remember the rule I forgot, the NPC voice that didn't land, the awkward pause, the clue they missed. And my brain immediately goes to, was the session even good? Like, were they bored? Did I do enough? Was it fun? So let me be honest, early on I'd get so nervous about each session, I could barely eat anything. It felt like really intense stage fright for me. And those were the moments where I genuinely thought maybe I just shouldn't do this. And there's been instances where I canceled because of this. And even after sessions that were completely fine, I'd leave by feeling like I hadn't sort of done enough. Like, they had fun despite me, not because of me. And there's a really interesting thing that I found out on how I can deal with this that I want to share with you. And this is ask for appreciation directly. So I, at the end of any session, ask, did you enjoy it? What were your favorite moments? And I'm being really transparent here. I'm telling them that I'm feeling super insecure after a session, and it's usually every session, so I would love to hear what they enjoyed, so my brain has something to offset all of that negativity that I'm telling myself. This isn't the fishing for compliments type thing, it's like table maintenance for me. It makes the emotional labor that I carry as a DM visible. Critical feedback is still very important and it very much matters, but just not right after for me. If something negative lands right after the session, it reinforces the negative stuff that I'm already telling myself. So I focus on telling them, please only focus on the positive for now, we can critique later. And later in this case usually means a day or two after. Appreciation for what you do as a DM is not a bonus. For a lot of DMs, it's the fuel that you need to keep going. And then, yes, we do need to talk about prep. Prep gets dangerous when it stops being preparation and it starts being proof that you're good enough. So it starts with one innocent question: have I done enough? And there's no natural end to that question, and that inherently is the problem. So I've got a whole video on prepping less without making your game worse, so I'll link that somewhere. I also want to make a full video on the map burster effect, which is going to be the next video that I do, because it deserves its own conversation. This is much more than I can cover in this one. The best prep system is the one that means you still want to run the game next week. And this is where I think all of it comes together. So maybe DM burnout isn't a sign that you stopped loving D&D. Maybe it's a sign that the structure around your game needs to change. When a DM burns out, everyone loses. The story gets worse, the table gets tense, nobody gets the best version of the game. So fixing the burnout you experience isn't selfish, it's how you keep the game alive and fun for everyone. You are allowed to enjoy the game too. In fact, it's required. You're not a machine that produces D&D for other people. And if the part burning out you the most right now is prep, I want you to watch the linked up video. And if this video resonated with you, I want you to jump into the comments and tell me what's the worst part of DMing that drains you out the most. Because I don't think we talk about this stuff enough. And I think maybe we should. Anyways, that's all from me. I'll see you in the next one.